signs you're dealing with a covert narcissist. Vulnerable narcissism, hypersensitive narcissism, and fragile narcissism are all terms used to describe covert narcissism. While the typical overt narcissist has received more attention in the past, there has always been a theoretical body of work that has addressed this less visible but equally challenging narcissistic personality trait: lack of empathy, projection, entitlement, hypersensitivity, arrogance, paranoia, passive aggression, sense of justice, resentment, and insecurity are all symptoms of covert narcissism. Covert narcissists are not overtly flamboyant or pompous. Rather, they feel the world is unable to understand them or their exceptional, unique, or outstanding qualities, which is why their grandiosity is concealed. Other more sensitive patterns in this type of behavior include anxiety, despair, disappointment, or embarrassment, and social retreat. These people are trapped in their heads, wondering why the world never recognized them, and they may even believe they are forgotten geniuses. They also feel the world owes them something and maintain resentment for not receiving what they believe they deserve. They are often resentful of the world, of individuals in their social circle and family, and of anyone they believe has a better life than they have. Their relationships with others are often aggressive, and it is in this aspect that covert narcissism is most similar to more typical narcissism. Covert narcissists are thought to be slightly more likely to have a hostile attribution bias, which is a tendency to perceive or overinterpret the motives of others as hostile. Unsurprisingly, because they believe others are motivated by hate, their reactions reflect that hostility. Covert narcissists might be too sensitive to criticism and find it difficult to let go of anything that resembles a criticism. As a result, they will seek comfort in the face of criticism, and any criticism or lack of acknowledgement reinforces their view that the rest of the world does not fully comprehend their special attributes. Because this type of narcissism is not recorded in our standard methods of evaluating the attribute of narcissism, these persons are frequently overlooked. They look quiet, gloomy, morose, hangdog, and depressed in general. But just when you think they're sensitive or unhappy, they'll start an extremely intellectualized conversation about anything and attempt to beat you at it. They frequently feel inferior to others because, like all narcissistic people, they influence their self-esteem from the outside, and they do not perceive or truly receive sufficient validation for why they and their lives are so unhappy. These people are not as well adjusted as their more conventionally narcissistic counterparts, and whereas classical overt narcissists tend to retain better levels of self-esteem and lower levels of despair, covert narcissists do not fare as well. People in relationships with covert narcissists may believe they are depressed or have a low level of self-esteem, and they may sympathize or desire to assist them. As a result, when they try to be soft or show warmth or kindness to the covert narcissist, they are typically faced with rage, rejection, insults, or ignorance. If you try to quit the relationship out of frustration with the narcissist's anger, coldness, or remoteness, it is not uncommon for the covert narcissist to cry or act in another similarly vulnerable manner. Close connections with covert narcissists can be extremely challenging, since they exhibit an apprehensive and avoidant attachment style in close interactions. All of this may make the world of covert narcissism very difficult to understand, Covert narcissists might also appear to be socially inept. Unlike the traditional overt narcissist, who appears attractive, engaging, and confident at first sight. Others may avoid them because they appear socially uncomfortable, or they may dismiss their lack of empathy instead of their apparent fragility. They also have a victim mentality and perceive threats, injury, insults, and persecution frequently. The behavior of the malignant narcissist frequently overlaps with the pattern of psychopathy. Surprisingly, because of the relative lack of social competence, the more unpredictable temper, and the brooding anger, covert narcissism can resemble sociopathy, especially in its most severe manifestations. Contempt is an important component that emerges in all varieties of narcissism, but especially in covert narcissism. The covert narcissist frequently appears as a brooding, furious individual who is socially isolated, has poisonous and icy attitudes about other groups, and is relatively mediocre in their outcomes. They are most likely overrepresented in industries with a high level of scorn, such as online trolls. Entitlement is still very much present in covert narcissism. There is a continual dissatisfaction with the world in general, which these types believe does not acknowledge their specialness or give them the recognition and attention they deserve. There is also a widespread belief among covert narcissists that they did not receive the life they deserved, and they prefer to blame others for this. While it is not spectacular, it softly runs beneath the surface, covered by an unpleasant, melancholy demeanor. They remain arrogant, but not coolly arrogant, and frequently feel like the irritating and furious know-it-all on the bar seat next to you. Why is it so difficult to leave them? This is a confusing kind of narcissism that might appear as despair. It might look like depression at first sight, or even afterwards. Many individuals would not quit these relationships because they feel terrible abandoning someone who appears fragile on the surface, and they may even feel sorrow for their spouse and want to rescue them. These relationships are frequently held together by the belief that if something good happens to the covert narcissist, such as a promotion or hoped for appreciation, things will improve. But this is rarely the case. This is a fact about all types of narcissism. Narcissists are proficient at damaging their partner's social groups and familial bonds. The possibility of leaving may result in a sense of being completely alone. They have instilled worry and anxiety in their partner's life. There may be emotional, physical, or even sexual abuse. Fear of retaliation, or an explosive reaction to rejection, or an attempt to retake authority may arise. The partner of a narcissist often believes that if they stay, things will get better and return to the way they were. This way of thinking and feeling can lead to trauma bonding and codependency. Be aware that you never can control the behavior of the narcissist. Narcissists are very unpredictable. Think about your well-being and dare to stand up for yourself, because you deserve a life that makes you happy.